What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. As always, I hope everybody's having a great weekend, watching some spooky movies and whatnot. I know I'm having a pretty good weekend because this is the first I've had off with no wrestling shows since I moved back to first shift, which I love going to wrestling shows and being on cards and entertaining the fans and being a bad guy and all that fun stuff. But you know, when you leave at like 9, 10 in the morning, travel, and by the time you get back it's 3 or 4 in the morning, it could be a long day and kind of break down your Sunday, but I can't complain for doing the things I love to do. And one of the things I love to do, great segue, is watching movies. So as you could tell by the title, this is only Volume 4. Cult Classics Reviews Volume 4. This was something I started up 2 years ago and clearly haven't done a lot of episodes. And I'm going to try to bring this back because in a nutshell, this is just a lot of titles I've watched in a small amount of time that I want to give my thoughts on without doing a full-blown review. So I believe I have 10 titles here I want to talk about, kind of mini reviews, if you will. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. So this is one I got during the last Vinegar Syndrome sale, and this is She Came from the Woods. And this is a newer movie, for what it is. What is this, 2022, but it takes place in the 80s, kind of like a retro throwback kind of a movie, and just the synopsis of it, the trailer, this looked pretty good. I like when they do throwbacks. I'm not a big fan of new horror, but I would say this one was just okay. It was maybe a little better than okay, because it wasn't bad in any ways. I had a lot of fun with this. I was going to do a full-blown review on this, but I figured I might as well just throw it in here, because it's been so long since I watched this. This is the one I've watched the longest. These are in order of how I watched them, but as well. Easy for me to say. But this kind of gave me vibes of like the Blair Witch and everything, with this like evil woman that lives in the woods, like this ghost that they repossess. And it's got some pretty cool aspects to it. It's all like retro. It takes place in the 80s. Could have been done better at some points, but characters are just okay. Some are good, some are bad. So we're kind of middle of the road there. I appreciate how they shot this. The whole summer aesthetic I'm a sucker for. And they have a deal where the children get possessed by the witch in the woods and they become killers themselves. Not to give too much away. If you want to check this out, this is on Tubi, which I feel most every movie that I like is on Tubi, because that's just my taste, I guess. But this was really fun. Decent practical effects. There was one scene in particular with practical effects that was crazy. It was a fire stunt followed directly by this guy getting put out, and then the makeup effects of him being burned half to death. And then he says some really raunchy ass shit to the girl that's saving him, that he's trying to like hook up with, that doesn't have an interest in him. And then she just bashes his head in with, like, I forget what it was. I think maybe the end of a shotgun. So you have a fire stunt, the melted shit after, and a head explosion smash or whatever, all with like this really, what he says to her is really fucked up. But my one thing is, I would say this does have a lot of like twists and turns in it that I was surprised that they even went for. But that was kind of fun, but I do think the ending was a little bit flat. But that is pretty much my opinions on this. I liked it. Good movie. I'm the type of person, you guys, you'll tell from a lot of the stuff I've talked about over the years. I just love collecting horror, especially slasher movies. If it's like a slasher I never heard or something from the 80s, I pick it up a lot of the times. And this is where this series is going to be a lot of fun. And my first time watch movie I'm going to do on Wednesdays, which I'm going to film the intros for this after that. So these will be kind of fun to hear me complain about movies, I guess. Because whenever I go to review a movie that I don't like, sometimes I've just not put out the videos. Because I'm like, I don't want to be just bitching and bringing something down. But when I have to talk about some of the stuff, I think when I'm bitching about certain things, it's more funny. But I don't like to get that shitty with movies. But anyways, the next one I watch is one I do not own. I will put the picture of the cover right here. Now this is GWAR, the documentary. I've been just going on this GWAR kick lately, you guys. Like, they're just such a fascinating band. Like, every member, Dave Brockie and everything with his death. Like, and I just finally wanted to like get to the bottom of it, know the whole history, which I feel like I do to an extent. I was thinking about picking up the 2 movies I did on VHS too, but I'll wait for the tape swap to see maybe if I can find those there. But just a very interesting story about the band. Kind of sad, kind of like cool though how they replace each member and everything, and just something you got to check out. Dave Brockie was a wild man. Now they used to do these sets that were like their name reversed, so like Raug or whatever, RAWG. Look it up on YouTube if you get a chance. There's this one video of them performing, and Dave Brockie, man, he like lost all his shit at the airport, got food poisoning, so he's just up on stage just in a pair of shorts performing, and he is so fucked up. Not saying I'm condoning that for his performance or whatever, but like the fact he's like almost in a trance while he's performing at this live set. You can find it on YouTube, and I suggest checking it out. It's insane. But anyways, as for the documentary, they pretty much give you every bit of information you'd ever need to get about the band Gwar, which is pretty cool. And now next up is one I've been trying to get through these here or there. The box set of Hellraiser, and I'll open this up for anybody who has never seen this or isn't aware of this Arrow release for one. Spine. I think this is one of the coolest releases. So you pull this piece out, and it's what's underneath. Help me, I'm in hell. Have such sights to show you. I've done an unboxing of this before, but pretty badass. So I watched part 3. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. Middle of the road, kind of where shit starts to go south. You know, we're pretty lucky to get parts 1 and part 2 in this series. So cool. But part 3 pretty much follows like this eccentric young club owner that's like a ladies' man. He's kind of taking advantage of a lot of women. He ends up making a deal with the devil, Pinhead, who's in this big piece of art. He's like this abstract art collector, and it's got Pinhead's head in it and all this type of shit. It kind of looks like the rotating shelf I have, actually. It rotates and everything. And he ends up pulling Pinhead out of the box, and they agree to make like an arrangement where they work together, so he feeds him more souls, which ends up makes it a turn after that. But just a pretty much middle of the ground, fun Hellraiser movie. Maybe the last good one. I still got to get to part 4. I have no memory of that movie at all, but part 3 was pretty fun. It had a creepy vibe, raunchy, not raunchy, but dirty movie. These Hellraiser movies don't have any humor in it. There was kind of a strange storyline with family and everything, but good gore, good practical effects as always. This is kind of the one that has like the Carrie ending, where Pinhead comes in and starts locking all the doors, just like in the movie Carrie, and killing everyone in there. We get some new Cenobites that haven't exactly aged well, but pretty interesting movie. It gets kind of crazy at the end, like these movies tend to do. Good. Might be the last good Hellraiser movie. I had fun with it, definitely. And this is where my buddy was laughing at me. Pete Daddy Dollar it was, because I had a day off of work, actually. Last week, I had to go to the doctor, so I had like a movie marathon. He was laughing about the order of the movies I went in. So I start with Gwar, I watch Hellraiser 3, and then after I watch Ski Patrol. I don't think it's too far-fetched. I think if I watch something that gruesome and violent, sometimes I like to pull it back with something to really make me laugh. Or, so, you know, sometimes I'll go all comedy, all horror, but I tend to bounce back and forth sometimes. In Ski Patrol, this is an amazing 80s movie. I would say like a raunchy teen sex comedy, but it's rated G, I believe. It wasn't too dirty or anything. There was just some funny gags and jokes. Kind of reminds me of like Police Academy and stuff like that, but this has been a long time since I've seen this movie. Hilarious, a lot of fun. It doesn't end with like the typical, it has the generic like storyline of like, we're trying to tear down this youth center, blah, 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 but doesn't end in like the race down the big death mountain, which was a little refreshing. It had more of like this cat and mouse chase with two different parties actually going down this big hill, like an actual rescue from the Ski Patrol. So that was kind of fun. There's a couple weird instances like this, like the talent show. It doesn't make much sense to me why the guy had to dress in drag to sing in the talent show. Like, I don't understand, but it was all in good fun. I really like, I believe it's, where's that? I think it's this little guy in here, maybe. But there's like this guy who's like in charge of something for the Ski Patrol. He's like the safety, you know, here I am with the facts. There's many like bosses to the team, and it's like the one boss that's on the hill with them. He's this little 5 foot tall like Southern dude, and he was the funniest part of the movie for me. I forgot all about him. His accent and everything. He'd go on telling something. His name might have been Merle or Marlin or something, but he'd go say something. His assistant would be like, "Yeah, what he said. Now shut your mouth, Merle." And they have this one scene where they give him these growth pills where he thinks he's going to get taller, and they trick him through the whole movie. But that was pretty fun. A lot of sequences and montages of skiing down the hills to like 80s hair metal and everything, which I can't complain. Just a fun popcorn movie. I have nothing bad to say about that. And here's one. I've actually never seen this movie until when I watched this the other night. Frankenhooker. What a fucking movie. Now, when this movie started and he was doing like the operations in the bowl in the kitchen, I thought, okay, this looks like it's going to be pretty stupid, because it's weird where I draw my line on like horror comedies and just dumb shit. Because like Microwave Massacre, for example, I can't stand. There's some trauma stuff I can't stand, and this movie got really close, especially in the beginning. I'm like, are we gonna go this direction with it? But I do love Street Trash. And I do love Basket Case, which I thought this movie really had a big similarity to both of those. And then little research, I found out this was directed by the same guy who did Basket Case. So they have the same grimy vibe. Like this takes place in New Jersey, though I think they do go down to New York City. But pretty much, if you're not aware, the guy's girlfriend dies and he has to put her back together like Frankenstein's monster. And he ends up lowering all these hookers into a hotel room with super crack to get their body parts. He goes to back out feeling bad. All the strippers explode from the super crack. And that's how he puts all the body parts together, but she turns out having like part of a memory mind of a hooker, and he's got to try to save her. It's got a very like intimidating henchman, like a pimp in here. Very crazy ending that reminds me a lot of Street Trash, like not only with the death of one of the villains, but something that happens very last, which is very funny. This one just lingered with me for a while. This was a really good movie. I'll definitely be watching this more and more, again and again. Frankenhooker, a new favorite. All right, we have 4 left. And we have this hideous steelbook of Escape from New York, John Carpenter. So sometimes when I buy these steelbooks, it's when the newer 4K is doesn't have a slip no more. I don't mean to be that guy, but it's just the truth. But fun set. What can you say about this? John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, 2 of my favorites ever. My favorite director with one of my favorite actors. Pretty much all of New York City in the future of 1997 has been closed to be one big prison where they don't even have police guards or nothing. They just put all the criminals in there and it's protected. You stay in there. There's these crazy gangs and everything. And they got to get Snake Plissken, who's Kurt Russell's character. They put like a bomb timer that'll kill him, and he's got to go rescue the president whose plane crashed inside New York City. He's got to rescue him within 24 hours. Very fun movie, very fun characters, very fun set pieces. Intense, action, funny. What's to say about this? Very fun. One of Carpenter's earlier works. And, almost has elements of horror at it sometimes when these, like, underground people try to attack Kurt Russell. They're pretty crazy looking. And, yeah, this was just a good one, man. What's more to say about Escape from New York? Look good in 4K as well. Got the heat in here, man. I'm cooking. Now, here's another example of, like, oh, this is where you go in movie marathons, because I did watch this directly after I watched Escape from New York. And that is Dude, Where's My Car? Just a fun stoner comedy, man. So many fun quotes in here. I can't even go on and on about these. Just 2 dudes that lose their car after a night of drinking. They got to meet up with their girlfriends to give them their birthday presents. But they got to retract their whole night to find the car that has the presents in them. And they run into all different groups of people. The members of Zoltan. And these hot chick aliens, these 2 like Finnish alien dudes, and they're all trying to get the time continuing, whatever you call it. Trying to get the time continuation. Its powers only outweighed by its mystery and lore, or whatever he says. They get the jocks after him. Ashton Kutcher getting a kiss with Christy Bomer. Just a funny, funny movie. They got the crazy stripper after them too, so it's almost like a road movie, but they stay in one town the whole time. Tons and tons of funny one-liners, and just fun, raunchy, stupid stoner comedy. I love Ashton Kutcher. They're being kidnapped. They're, taken hostage. He's like trying to get Sean William Scott to hit him with a fire extinguisher. He walks over, grabs a fire extinguisher, sneaks up, acts like he hits him, puts it back. Duh. Just stupid fun, man. Under 90 minutes. What does my tattoo say? Now, here's one I've always heard was good. I picked this up through Scream Factory, The Hills Run Red. Now, this one caught me off guard. This is a crazy movie. Crazy slasher. It follows this guy who's like the ultimate fan of this movie, and he wants to find the lost copy of it that's apparently like in the woods where the director lives and hides out. He meets up with the old director's daughter and brings a couple friends with him, and they're trying to unravel this mystery, and it starts to slowly turn out to see like some things are more real than they appear. Some things are actually not just staged or fiction, or this is just crazy. The babyface killer, the mask, that's a pretty good look. This has a couple twists at the end that are pretty insane. A handful of very explicit and very gory scenes that almost had me like a little bothered watching. It made me a little uncomfortable, and Doesn't have the happiest ending. This is a very violent and fucked up movie. It doesn't seem like it's as fucked up. It almost goes like Hills Have Eyes at some point. It gets real crazy. It's like the last like 20, maybe 30 minutes, third act, just kind of get absolutely insane. But pretty cool killer for a modern movie. I think 2008 this came out, 2009. So I would suggest picking this up. And then just yesterday, I watched this one, Blood Tracks. I like to watch wintertime horror movies in the wintertime, and this is one that came out through Scream Factory, and I heard mixed things. This is one a lot of people never heard of, and I'll tell you what, you guys, this movie fucking sucks. This was so bad. This was like torture. I kept looking at my clock, like just hoping this movie would be done soon. I mean, in theory, it was a good idea with like these rock stars and chicks shooting a music video up in the mountains and everything, but you got these monsters. They show this opening scene where these like this dad and mom like kill each other and the kids run and hide, and it's like 40 years later and you see these people, they're all disheveled looking like this, and they're hiding like there's this abandoned warehouse, and they're hanging out like and living in these big, like it almost looks like parts inside an airplane. It's like these big round barrels that are hanging from the all the equipment and rigs and everything, right? And then, like, the security guard comes looking in, they end up killing this guy, and the avalanche happens, and all the rock stars end up, like, taking, shelter inside this factory, which is, like, connected to, like, the lodge area of it, whatever. So it's like, I hate breaking down movies and being too logical when a lot of this shit don't make sense. Like, the main plot of it doesn't make sense, but, for one, who are these people hiding from all these years? And two, why are you hiding in like the crevices of the machinery in this plant when there's like literally like a cabin with like a fireplace and beds and everything in the same area because they're snowed in the same spot? Like, why not just live there? I don't think anybody was looking for them, and they honestly don't even look like that fucked up in the movie, especially for the beginning. They look worse. You would think they're like some fucking neon maniacs kind of shit, but they just look like old homeless people. It's like, if you guys just maybe didn't wear Viking looking shit and trim your beards and shower and just live in the lodge and these people showed up. I mean, this was the fucking 80s. You could have just convinced them that's where you lived. Oh, this is our place. Sure, you guys can come in, Even make them pay to stay there or something. And every single time, it's literally on the cover. Every single time one of these monsters or mutants attacked, it was just them sneaking up from behind somebody and pulling them into the darkness over and over and over and over again. There's maybe one good gore scene where the guy gets his arm chopped off, but other than that, the longest third act you'll ever see, this movie sucks ass. And the last movie I have watched in this little marathon, I watched The World's End. Now, this is Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Now, what did they call this? It was the something trilogy. It's something like Ice Cream Trilogy. It's with that was Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. But this is just a pretty fun movie about this friend who's going through his own issues, and he kind of never grew up, and they did this bar crawl back in the day but didn't finish. He wants to have a reunion with his friends and do one last bar crawl, and kind of lies to a lot of them. He's just kind of a piece of shit, and they have a lot of moments in this movie where they catch each other in lies and have to go through their friendships and learn shit about themselves and survive, because they're trying to finish this bar crawl where you drink a pint at every single bar, all 12 of them. They were 3 short in the first time they tried it. Now they're like adults, almost in their 40s. Everybody's doing good except Simon Pegg's character. And did I forget to mention that this turns into like some alien zombie movie halfway through, where they find out the whole town has been taken over by these these robots that you can rip them apart and they leak blue, and it gets pretty wild. It didn't hold up as well as I remembered that part of it when I watched it last night, but nonetheless still a pretty crazy and fun movie. I like this better than Hot Fuzz, though this had a very strange ending and everything, but a lot of fun, a lot of serious and comedic moments, and yeah, that is that. So, that being said, didn't want to keep everyone too long. It's almost been 20 minutes with this video. Holy cow. But anyways, with that being said, hopefully everybody's having a good one. That's just what I watched lately. Let me know in the comments if you've watched any of these movies, what you think. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. And also, I will be on Tuesday Night Terror Vision once again on Wrestling with Horror's channel. Just search Wrestling with Horror. It's the channel with the Jason mask, and we will be live at 8:05 on his channel. Me, Pete Day, Dollar, and J-Man talking about one I've actually never seen before. a classic, Tourist Trap. So be sure to tune into that. And now I'm rambling on, as I tend to do. But Blood Guts Gore, I'll check you guys next time.